Good morning, Thursday, March 31st, 2022. Baseball Hall of Fame player comparisons. Who is greater, Babe Ruth or Ty Cobb? My argument is Babe Ruth was the greatest baseball player of all time. Ty Cobb, the greatest hitter of all time. If you compare their stats, it's amazing. Let's compare categories, see who wins. But then I have an argument to make that may interest you. Here are the categories: career average, runs scored, RBIs, home runs, triples, doubles, singles, total bases, slugging, on base, strikeouts, at bats, games, stolen bases, walks, career hits, 100 RBI seasons, most runs in a season, most RBIs in a season, and years played. Career average: Cobb 366, Ruth 342. 1-0 Cobb. Runs scored: Cobb 2245, Ruth 2174. 2-0 Cobb. RBIs: Cobb 1944, Ruth 2214. 2-1 Cobb. Home runs: Cobb 117, Ruth 714. 2-2. Triples: Cobb 297, Ruth 136. 3-2 Cobb. Doubles: Cobb 724, Ruth 506. 4-2 Cobb. Singles: Cobb 3053, Ruth 1516. 5-2 Cobb. Total bases: Cobb 5,854, Ruth 5,793. He came up about 60 short. 6-2 Cobb. Slugging: Cobb 512, Ruth 690. 6-3 Cobb. On base: Cobb 433, Ruth 474. 6-4 Cobb. Strikeouts: career, Cobb had 680, Ruth 1,330. Fewer strikeouts, give it to Cobb. 7-4 Cobb. At bats: Cobb had 11,440, Ruth 8,399. It's a difference of about 3,000 at bats. Wow. 8-4 Cobb. Games played: Cobb 3,034, Ruth 2,503. That's about 500 difference. 9-4 Cobb. Stolen bases: Cobb 897, Ruth 123. 10-4 Cobb. In categories: walks: Cobb 1,249, Ruth 2,062. That's about 800 more walks. 10-5 Cobb. Hits: Cobb 4,189, Ruth 2,873. 11-5 Cobb. In categories: 100 RBI seasons: Cobb had 7, Ruth had 13. 11-6 Cobb. Most runs scored in the season: Cobb 148th, Ruth 177. 11-7 Cobb. RBIs most: Cobb had 127, Ruth had 170. 11-8 Cobb. And then years played: Cobb played 24, Ruth 22. 12-8. So in matchups, Cobb beats Ruth in categories 12-8. But you got to consider something. I have baseball reference right here. Cobb played 500 and 29 more games than Ruth. Yet Ruth beat him in RBIs. He beats him in home runs. He beats him in slugging, on base, walks, 100 RBI seasons, most runs in a season, and most RBIs in a season. Cobb wins in career batting average, runs scored, triples, doubles, singles, total bases, fewer strikeouts, at bats, games, stolen bases, career hits, and years played. But you know that Babe Ruth started his career in 1914? He played 5 games. Next year, he played 42. So that's 47 games. Next year, he played 67. So 47 and 67 is 114 games in 3 years. 1917, he played 52. So he's up to 150 games. What is a baseball season? 150 games, right? So in the first 4 years, Babe Ruth plays 150 games. So if he plays 22 years in the league, we can say basically he's played 19 years. But then 1918, his 5th year in the league, he plays 95 games. So that's over half. It wasn't until 1919 where he started to play a full season. Then he played 1920, 21, 22. In 1922, he misses 50 games. Then in 1925, he misses another 60 games. And then his last year, he only plays 28 games. So looking at this, Babe Ruth played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I say about 17 years he played baseball, full. 17 full seasons, roughly. Plays 22, but about 5 of those years he was pitching and he missed games. Yet Babe Ruth, with 500 less games, has more RBIs, better slugging, better on base, more walks. Did you know that Babe Ruth had 800 more walks than Ty Cobb? So here's my argument. Even though Cobb wins 12-8, let's say that Cobb and Ruth play the same number of games. Who wins in categories? So let's see, 500 more games. How many more hits would Babe Ruth gotten in 500 more games? So his career total is 2873. So looking at this, if he plays 150 games, he had 200 hits. 1, 2, 3. 3 times in a season, he had 200 hits with 150 games. So what we want to do is get Cobb and Ruth playing the same number of games. Cobb has 500 more games played. If in 150 games, Ruth gets 200 hits, 300 games is 400 hits, right? Another 150 games with 200 hits would be 600 hits in 450 games. So let's say 700 more hits. Is that fair? He plays 500 games and gets 700 more hits. So if he had 2873, he would end up with 3,500 hits. So Cobb wins in hits because he had 4,189. And Ruth, 500 more games played, would have ended up with 3,500 hits. So we'll give it to Cobb. Runs scored. Cobb had 2,245 in 500 more games than Ruth. But Ruth had 2,174. That's a difference of only about 80 runs. So we can say that in 150 games, how many runs does Ruth score? Looks like he's averaging about 140. I'll get my calculator here. 500 games, 500 times 140. 500 times 140. Ruth would have scored 700 more runs. So Cobb in 3,000 games, 2,245 runs. Ruth would have had 2,800 runs scored. So we got to give the category to Ruth. It's 1-1. RBIs. Remember, we want Cobb and Ruth to play the same number of games. Cobb has 500 more, so we're adding 500 more games to Ruth and see who wins the category. Cobb had 1,944 RBIs. Ruth had 2,214. So Ruth beats him by 300 RBIs, yet he played 500 less games. How many RBIs is Ruth averaging? Again, it's about 140 for a full season. So 500 games more, it's about 600 more RBIs. Cobb has 1,944. Ruth, 600 more, would give him 2,800 RBIs. Ruth wins that category. It's 2-1 Ruth. Home runs, we know Ruth wins it, 714. Even 500 more games, he would have had 1,000 home runs. So we'll give that to Ruth. Total triples, 297 for Cobb, but Ruth had 136. How many triples is Ruth averaging? We'll say about 10 triples a year, looking at Baseball Reference. So 500 times 10 triples would have been 50. 50 would have gave him 186. Cobb wins in triples, okay? We'll give it to Cobb in triples. Doubles, 724 for Cobb, 506 for Ruth. How many doubles is Ruth averaging? I'd say about 30 doubles a year, right? So 500 games, 30 doubles, 5 times 3. That's about 150 more doubles. 150. Ruth had how many doubles? 506. He would have had 650. Cobb wins in doubles because he had 724, and Ruth would have ended up with about 650. So it's 3-2 Ruth in categories. Singles. Cobb had 3,000 and Ruth had 1,500, even though 500 more. No, Cobb wins in singles. So Cobb in singles. Total bases. Cobb had 5,854. Ruth, 5,794. So that's 54 and 7. That's about 61. Ruth came 61 short of Cobb in total bases, yet Cobb played 500 more games. We're going to add the 500 games so that Cobb and Ruth have the same number of games played. Ruth would have won in total bases. Because how many bases is he averaging? Say about 300 bases. So 5. It's 1,500 more bases. Ruth would have had over 7,200 bases as he plays an extra 500 more games. Okay, so Ruth wins that one. On base, Cobb 433, Ruth 474. So Ruth wins in on base. Okay, slugging, Ruth wins there. Because Cobb's not winning, even though he has 500 more games, he's not winning. Strikeouts. Cobb 680, Ruth had 1,300. So Cobb wins in strikeouts. Okay? Fewer strikeouts. At bats. Okay, how many at bats is Ruth averaging? We say 500 more at bats. 500. That's 2,500 more at bats. 2,500. Let's see. Ruth had 8,399. Add 2,500 bats. That would have gave him 10,011. He would have came short. So Cobb wins in at bats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 6-5 Ruth in categories. Games played. 3,034. If they have the same number of games, that's a wash, okay? Stolen bases, Cobb would have won the stolen bases. He had 897, Ruth 123. He plays 500. Ruth plays 500 more games. He doesn't catch Cobb in with stolen bases. Walks, Ruth wins that. He had 2,000 in 2,000 walks. Cobb had 1,200. So Ruth wins in walks. Hits. How many hits? Okay, Cobb had 4,189 hits. Ruth had 2,800 hits. How many hits is he averaging? I gave you that one, didn't I? Yeah. So Cobb wins in hits. 100 RBI seasons, Ruth will win that because he had 13 to Cobb's 7. Most runs in a season, Ruth won that. And most RBIs in a season, Ruth won that. So what was the final total here? One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do you realize that Ruth, if Babe Ruth and Ty Cobb played the same number of games, Ruth would have outperformed Ty Cobb? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 categories. Cobb would have won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 categories. What do you think of my analysis? If you take their careers as is right now in Baseball Reference, Cobb wins 12-8 in categories. But if you presuppose and have Babe Ruth and Ty Cobb play the same number of games, Ruth wins 10-6. Who's the greater baseball player? Babe Ruth. Who's the better hitter? Well, we proved it with Ty Cobb because when he played a certain amount of games, he still beats Ruth in hits. But in the other 9 other categories, Ruth outperforms Cobb. What do you think of that analysis? I thought it was pretty interesting. All right, thanks for watching. I'm out.